Thank you for joining us today. My name is Gail Watson, President and CEO of Women Speakers Association, and we are very excited to introduce you to our featured author today. Her name is Natasha Clawson. She is part of the book Voices of the 21st Century. This book serves as an opportunity for women from around the world to share their voice with their powerful and passionate message, all to make a difference in the lives of others. It is done by one woman simply stepping into her own truth, to be vulnerable and transparent, and we know that this takes tremendous courage, which is why, as more of us rise up to use our voices to educate, guide, and inspire, we must support one another by both sharing and listening. So without further ado, I love to welcome to our show today. Welcome, Natasha. How are you?
Good. So nice to be here and see you today.
It's great to have you. You're looking fabulous.
Thank you. You too.
Good. Thank you. Anyway, I'm excited to learn a little bit more about your chapter, what inspired you to put this story into this book. But before I do, I would love everybody to know that you created the beautiful cover on
Thank
Voices
you.
of the 21st Century. In fact, you've been part of the whole series, creating these outstanding, brilliant graphic covers. And we all know that, we're never supposed to judge a book by the cover, but in the publishing world, that's what we do. And I have never received so many beautiful compliments and praise about that cover. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, it's an honor to be able to help put the final touch on all of the stories with the cover.
Yeah, you really pull it all together. Okay, so let's talk about your story. Tell us what motivated you or inspired you to share this story?
Yeah, so I was working at a job which had been the right job for a long time. And then there was a point at which it was no longer the right job. And I found myself feeling, just like I didn't belong there anymore. And I was ready to move on, but I was afraid. I was held back by so many different things, whether it was my family's expectations, my own expectations of myself, the workplace's expectations of if I leave or don't. And so I didn't move away because I was afraid. And the longer I stayed there, the more I found that I was unhappy. And regardless of, what I thought or not, I was going to have to leave anyways because I just wasn't happy there. And so when I finally did leave, it was a really great thing, but it took too long. So I wrote the story to really share with people the encouragement to make that leap, because you'll be so unhappy somewhere eventually that it won't even be a choice. You do need to be somewhere where you're happy and feeling fulfilled. It just won't work otherwise. That's what I found. So just the motivation.
That has such strong insight, because given you are our leader of today, you're that young woman, on her career path, and you've always impressed me with the depth that you bring, the wisdom that you bring, and I love the fact that you're not waiting around. If I look back, I think, oh, I waited way too long.
Yeah, so many people have that same story. And I think it's really relevant to right now too, because so many people may have lost a job, through no choice of their own, but maybe they were feeling the same way that I was. They weren't happy there. And so once they move past the financial hurdles and grief of, that unexpected switch, maybe there's a silver lining that this was the push they needed to go and do something completely different. So that's my hope.
That's a really good one. And I like how you relate it to today's time, that sometimes we lose jobs, or we not our own choice. So as people are reading your story, I mean, you wrote it to inspire others, but other than inspiration, what do you really want the reader to take away, if there was something, that big aha from your story?
I guess the courage to follow your gut. I think so many times in my life I didn't do that, and I always regretted it. Because it takes courage to go against the current, especially when you might have family's expectations or like what other people think. And at the end of the day, what you think is always going to sit with you. So something you need to live with. And yeah, no, it took me a long time. I'm 31, but I feel like all through my 20s, like it's just been the last few years that I finally stood up for myself and went after the life that I wanted. And it's been a dramatic change.
Really, yeah, that's amazing. So let's talk about your life today and how this story, how it shows up in your world today. What are you doing?
Yep. So I left my corporate job and I am now working in the startup environment. So I'm in my own business doing graphic design, serving lots of women owned businesses, purpose driven businesses. So that's very fulfilling for me. And I'm also working on some startup cannabis industry, which is really exciting because it's a totally new field and lots of opportunity, lots of fast pace excitement. But I really love that startup realm. So it's exciting.
Okay, that's awesome. And well, can I add to it, just because I have worked with you, is something that you bring, because of your wisdom, your passion that you do bring forward. You've really brought that, you've really helped, you helped me in that creative design process, really diving in. It wasn't just about, hey, what kind of cover do you want? It was all about the feel of the book and how you. So I really appreciate that about you, that you bring that forth, because
Thank you.
you're way more than if you're in that graphic design, because you really are like a business coach in there,
Well,
really.
I've learned so much about graphic design over the years, and it's really so much more than a cover. It's about asking the right questions. Yeah, there's a lot more that happens before any design happens. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Okay, you have a great story, and it's a story that I think a lot of people can relate to. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now going, oh yeah, that's me.
Yep.
And especially that you brought this time in our world to the forefront. While I think it would be beneficial to have our own copy of this, but now I'm thinking, what an amazing gift. If there's someone that we can think of in our life right now that maybe is experienced, maybe they've lost a job, maybe they're in that place of transition, or maybe they were transitioning and think, oh no, now what? I can't help but think that this story would be just a tremendous amount of inspiration to them to, yeah, keep going. So I would love to know where we could get a copy of your book. And would you be willing to personally autograph it if we order directly from you?
Absolutely. Yes, I would love to sign it. And you can get them on my website, which is aspiringco.com, aspirenco.com. And there's a book tab on there where you can find the book.
Well, that was easy. That's good.
And speaking of gifts, so I've given this away to so many people and had so many compliments. It's the perfect coffee table book because you can pick it up, read, a chapter, be inspired, and then not have to finish the whole thing, which is nice in today's world. Inspiration.
Do you have a copy of it there?
I do. Oop, oh, it's
Oops.
not
Oh,
going to like the
the
Zoom
green screen.
background.
No, it's not going to be. Okay. Well, Natasha, thank you so much for being on today and sharing your story, not just here today, but in that book, because the subtitle of that book is Powerful, Passionate Women Who Are Making a Difference. And you are truly that. I appreciate you more than your story. You're phenomenal. You've been excellent to work with and be with, and a fantastic partner to have, supporting Women Speakers Association and women right around the globe. So thank you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be part of the book and interact with so many different women through the experience. It's really great.
Yeah, they all love you. So before we go, any words of wisdom you want to leave with everybody?
Yes. Well, the title of my book is My Life, My Terms, and I encourage everyone to go out and live life on your terms. Build the life you love.
Beautiful. All right. Thanks again, Natasha. And I'd like to say a very special thank you to all of you for listening today and joining in. And we hope you enjoyed getting to know Natasha. Really encourage you to check out her website, get a copy. She's going to autograph it for you. And until next time, we will look forward to connecting with you again and sharing with you more and phenomenal stories.
Perfect. Bye. Thanks for having me.